Good afternoon, everyone. So before I introduce myself, let me take you back to the time when I thought I can do it all. Just last year. I always prided myself on being able to balance between academic, extracurriculars, and social life. I was so confident in myself that I believed I could juggle everything without much effort. But what happened on the second semester changed my perspective. At that time, I was reviewing for my final exams, preparing for my APs, taking up a new language, and trying to keep up with several projects. On the outside, everything seemed fine, and I was doing great. But on the inside, I was actually drowning. But I kept convincing myself that if I just push hard enough, I can handle it all. Every responsibility and every expectation. But the reality was much different. As weeks passed, the pressure began to mount. I did not want to admit that I might not be able to handle it all. So I kept pushing myself. I stayed up late, and I sometimes skipped meals, and I pretended like everything was okay. But then came the moment I will never forget, when I received my final grades. And well, I did not do as well as I hoped. But the bad thing is, the grades did not only reflect my work, but they also reflected my failure in able to managing everything, and my inability to know when it's time to step back. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't so invincible. I thought that my determination would be enough to carry me through, but I was wrong. I had worked so hard, but I hadn't worked smart. So now, I'm not here to talk about how I suddenly become a perfect student again. But in the aftermath of that, something shifted in me. And I realized that resilience is not in our ability to hold on. It's not us trying to control every aspect of our life. True strength, I discovered, comes from knowing when to let go. So, hello everyone. My name is Nguyen, and this is what I want to share with you today, the art of letting go. Now, I know that this might sound counterintuitive, because after all, we are often taught that resilience means holding on, pushing through, and to never give up. But what I've learned through my journey is quite the opposite. The most powerful form of resilience is not in our ability to hold on. It's in our ability to let go. A 2023 study of the American Psychological Association points out that 78% of college students report unhealthy level of stress due to academic pressure, with over half experiencing burnout before graduation. And this research confirms what I've learned in the hard way, that resilience is not about holding on tight, because it often leads to diminishing results rather than success. We often associate letting go with some kind of weakness, with quitting. But actually, letting go requires an incredible amount of strength. It requires the courage to face the truth and to release what no longer serves us. It means recognizing what is weighing us down and having the bravery to say that, oh, this is no longer helping me grow, and I must move on from it. And this is exactly what I have to do after my failure. I need to stop trying to be perfect. I need to let go of the idea that I have to do everything on my own. I need to let go of the pressure that I place on myself. So, letting go is one of the hardest things that I've ever done. but it's also one of the most freeing. Because for the first time in my life, I allowed myself to actually step back and to reflect and to understand my limits. I stopped trying to be everything to everyone, and therefore, I can focus on what truly mattered. So, this is where the true lesson lies. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about making space for growth. When I let go of the need to be perfect, I make space for self-compassion. When I let go of the idea that I have to succeed in every single thing I do, I make space for genuine learning and improvement. And after every failure, I have to let go of the thought, of the belief that failure defines me. And that's when I make space for resilience. But let me be clear. What I let go of were the things that were dragging me down. I was not giving up my goals, and I didn't abandon any of my ambition or my drive. I let go of the unrealistic expectations and the thought that I have to handle everything on my own. So, consider a bamboo tree. I put an image of it here. It bends with the strongest winds rather than to stand rigid and breaking. This flexibility, this willingness to yield rather than to resist, allows it to survive in the harsh condition that topple much stronger and more rigid trees. And in this way, it's kind of a saying, that nature is consistently demonstrates that adaptation and release are not weaknesses, but they are actually strategies for long-term survival. So now, back to my personal story. I made the difficult decision of postpone learning a new language, and I spent that time to focus on my AP and my remaining projects that I have in the school year. And of course, with the help of my academic advisor. And it's also really difficult to accept that I'm not that brilliant, I'm not that good, and I cannot excel at everything. But when I let go of the expectations and the thought that I have to handle everything alone, I can move forward with more energy, with more focus, and a deeper understanding of myself. But here's the thing. Letting go can be incredibly difficult because it often involves loss. It's whether a loss of an identity, of a goal, or of an image of who we think we should be. But loss isn't always a bad thing, is it? It can be transformative. And when we lose, we make room for something new, for something better. So, how can we cultivate this art of letting go in our life? These are my 3 key strategies for letting go that I've had through my journey. Embrace imperfection, ask for help, and rewrite your rules. Firstly, we need to accept our imperfection. Too often, we feel pressure to be perfect. But imperfection is a part of being human. We don't have to do everything flawlessly because life isn't a race, and we don't have to achieve everything at once. True value lies in progress. Every mistake is a learning opportunity, and when we embrace our imperfection, we open ourselves up to new opportunity and to explore ourselves better. Second, we ask for help. We often feel the need to do everything on our own, but we are not meant to do everything by ourselves. Letting go of the assumption that we must be self-efficient will allow us to tap into the strength of others. And asking for help is not a weakness. It's a sign of strength and wisdom. Because true resilience also comes from knowing when to lean on others, whether it's your family or your friends or just your mentors at school. A friend of mine learned this lesson when struggling with an important assignment. After weeks of frustration working alone, she finally reached out to her teacher for guidance. And after that talk, not only did the quality of her work improve significantly, she also developed a mentoring relationship that could support her through her school year. And by letting go of the thought that she had to figure out everything independently, she found both academic success and valuable connections. And finally, rewrite your rules. We need to let go of the outdated beliefs that no longer serves us, because we often cling onto the idea that limits our growth. For example, failure is the end, and I cannot do anything about it. Or we define success in such a narrow term. So first of all, failure is not a full stop, it's a lesson. And I think that we should start to have our own definition of success, because we deserve to be proud of everything that we did. And also, embrace change. Let go of the fear of change, because change is the catalyst for growth. And when we embrace it, we can unlock new opportunities. So after all, it's not about being perfect, because if we are all perfect, we would be the same. And everyone knows that everyone is different, and every single of us is unique. And after all, it's just about being human, flawed, resilient, and ever-evolving. Think of it like this. The trees in autumn, they don't hold on to their leaves, but they let them go, trusting that new growth would come when it's time. So, sometimes the most unwavering thing that you can do is to surrender, is to trust the process, and to know that by letting go, we are making room for our new chapter. So as you move forward in life, just remember, true resilience does not come from trying to control every aspect of your life. True strength doesn't come from clinging to what's comfortable. It lies in the courage to let go and to step into the unknown with an open heart. And in that space, you will find your own resilience, unshakable and unwavering. And finally, it's just about let go or be dragged. Thank you.